So I grew up on a farm in Quebec, Canada. We have long winter, short summer, and 4,000 chicken that wake up every day playing the rooster alarm to entertain us. As a kid, I wanted to play all the time. One day, my dad told me, "You need to understand, son, on a farm, there's no weekdays or weekend. The bird needs care every day. This is our duty. This is our responsibility. Do your chore and go play." So from those days, I remember 3 key lessons that I carry all my life, personally and the professional life. The first one was about daily discipline. You know the drill. You wake up early, you do what you need to do, and you stop when your chores are done, and then you go play. The second thing was around scale. You cannot manage 4,000 chicken being alone. I mean, you can try, but it's not going to work. So with limited resource, we had to hire people that were really capable, competent, committed, and creative. We also had to learn each other's strengths and weaknesses, respect each other, so we can build trust. In corporate, it's kind of the same thing. If you corporate a large engineering organization, for example, you cannot rely on 2 geniuses and a bunch of AI agents. Well, not yet. So you have to basically do the same thing. You have to accept that you're going to have a diverse team, specialized, probably globally. And basically what you have to add to the recipe is collaboration and commitment and ability to get to a consensus, execute together. If you do these 3 things, daily discipline, organize at scale, you're going to be fine, which lead into the last one. Sooner or later, you're going to find adversity. On a farm, it tends to matter like you have a winter storm, it cracked the roof, the chicken have few hours to survive, and otherwise they're going to freeze. And what you have to do there is time is your enemy. You have to jump there, improvise, let the storm pass, and then come back to fix it the right way. In corporate land, you're going to see the same thing, but the threat comes a different way. It's usually a breakthrough from a competitor that's going to challenge you, or it's going to be a disruption at the technology level, like AI, that basically is going to challenge your business. If you don't do anything, you're going to freeze your revenue also. But there, time is your friends, because you have to analyze the threat, you have to analyze what to do, you have to play what-if scenario about the path to take your time, execute, and most of the time, that challenge will turn into an advantage for you. So again, bring these things to you. Those as a tool, they works from the farm to the data center. I can tell you by experience. So I spent 3 decades in Silicon Valley. I worked for Cisco system. I worked for Juniper Networks. I worked for Calix. These were all 3 companies that at one point of time dominate the industry, but suffer different fate. And what I learned is innovation, like company, has its own life cycle. So imagine the mountain that you see. If you want, basically, what I like about mountain is climbing really has 2 logic. You climb up or you climb down. There's only those 2 paths that matter. So if you want to climb out for success, the green path will be around invest early, grow the business, diverse, and expand. But the reality is things like that don't happen too often. So most likely you're going to find in your climb that you hit the wall. It's a plateau, and you're going to probably have to re-engineer a path to go around that. The worst case scenario, you're completely stuck. So what do? You're at the cliff. Well, you're going to have a leap of faith, re-engineer the company, jump on the other summit, and climb back. That's the life cycle of innovation that you need to master. So I am your guide today. I'm not the hero of the story. You are. And what we're going to try to do together is to understand which state of the innovation are you, which path to take, and then how to lead your team to climb with you to new heights. In 1994, I joined Cisco, which was at the early days of the commercial internet. I came with a dream to basically connect device to people, to community, to country, to the world. During these days, enterprise routing was the dominant technology. There was something called Ethernet campus switching on the rise. So 2 months in the job, I faced my first crisis. So we took the decision to basically be technology agnostic. And by doing this, we basically surprise everybody. And by combining routing and switching to the sum of the best of the both worlds, we basically took market share and the climb started. We also understood that if we want to maintain our growth, we need to think a little bit differently if we want to break away from everybody in the industry. We created a group that planted new seed, partnered to harvest, to look into new area to expand, new market, and basically planted early in the forest of opportunity, make investment in startup and disruptive technology. And it did pay off. If you look at for the five next year after that, we literally double size in revenue every 9 months. We expanded into 95 countries, and within 5 years, our sales rose from 1 billion to 50 billion. We had turned the internet into an ATM printing money machine for us. Life was good. By 2001, things even got better. We dominate the market with worldwide market with more than 60%. Our 80% of the internet traffic was carried by Cisco equipment. We become the most valuable company in the world. Everybody was sought to buy our solution. We felt invincible, but I think we grew in inside a lot of arrogance. 1 year later, the whole multi spoke. The entire .com bubble burst. Our revenue fell down with more than 60 to 70 to 80%. Revenue, profit, market share, option, all fell down at that level within 6 months. So we went from hero to zero like that. Gone were the ATM money machine. We felt lonely, a little bit broken, but some of us decided to rebuild the company. We focused on the growth. We learned to listen to customer and invest wisely. We were focused on rebuilding trust with shareholder, with customer, with employees. And it did work. As of today, Cisco is back to be a powerhouse, but it never regained its innovator status. I joined Juniper Networks rose as the #1 high-performance routing vendor for service provider, beating Cisco at his own game. But success like that can sedate. Slowly, the sales started to not grow as much, eventually plateauing. Why? The product were loved, the solution was sound, but the software infrastructure was outdated. It was literally falling apart. So management has a crisis on their hand. What do? They choose to rebuild. And in 2009, they asked me to do it for them. With the team, we decided to completely modernize the software infrastructure, the barn, while living into it, while also protecting the business and try to do it in a timely way. It was quite an endeavor, I must say. Most of the people at Juniper at the time were scared. Scared of the cost, scared of the risk, scared of what will happen if we fail. And many were basically saying, let's not do anything. Hopefully, and thankfully, the upper management decided to say, let's go. So the plan was easy. We're going to basically, over 3x, we're going to basically improve by 3x our quality, our delivery speed, and our feature capacity, all over 3 years. It sounds easy, but it was really hard to do. And what we did is to modernize the farm. We relook at all our development and testing process. We increased the pipeline. We learned to hire better and partner with some. And basically, the work was done in 3.5 years at the cost of $400 million. And it started to work. The customer noticed, the quality came back, the feature velocity was unmatched than before. But re-engineering transformation didn't change the fact that the culture was afraid of taking risks. So what's happened after that? Data center, security, cloud, AI. The management at the time decided, let's stand by. And last year, Juniper Networks ceased to exist and got acquired by HPE. So Calix was an interesting company. It's been 15 years in a market called Access. Access is essentially the network that connects your home to the internet. It was a market that the analysts didn't like. They thought it was essentially selling dumb pipe, and the winner was the one offering the lower cost. Not what they want to see. Investor, they say, it's a race to the bottom, don't want to do it. The founder of the company has a completely different idea of what could be the outcome. So he brought me in 2014 to reinvent the product line. We had to rethink the whole thing differently. So we imagine a world where you, the subscriber, in your home over a reliable internet connection, which wasn't the case, you could access all your applications, service, and content from anywhere. So enabling the work from remote, work from anywhere. It was a big step to take. And in order to do it, we had to leave the parent company behind, next to the cliff, have a leap of faith, and jump, knowing there will be no return. So in order to do it, it was interesting. We reinvent every aspect of the company, from manufacturing to product, to marketing, to sales, and customer services. And we were aiming to redefine the world of access, not from the network, but the point of view or the lens of the subscriber, with essentially access to all their service, with cloud intelligence as the nervous system. It was never been done before. In 2019, the whole multi spoke again. Remember the pandemic? Lockdown? It changed the life of all of us. But it elevated broadband connection as a critical infrastructure at that time for the family living in the house to work, to learn, to communicate, to live and play. For most of the company, and I'm sure it was probably the case here, it was a crisis about surviving. For us at Calix, because we have always dreamed about a remote workforce, we had built essentially the product and the technology to support it. We were ready to help, and the market did notice. So now, Calix doing all these things, man is now the dominant player in the access market. By enabling the subscriber experience, rethinking the problem in a completed way, it changed the complete market. And you know what? They keep investing. Good job, guys. So I've been in transformation. growth transformation, re-engineering, reinvention. All of these have been done by people, not source code, not hardware system, not silicon, not marketing hype, and not AI. People, people, people. In order to harness the potential of your team, I advise you to do what I call the 5 C's and to do it consistently. It's about first commitment. From the top, you show up daily, you lead by example. If you want to build the trust, you have essentially to provide context of decision about the decision you want to do, the option that I was considering, and why this direction can succeed. Then you will see that sooner or later, you will enable courage. Courage for the individual to speak out their mind and contribute. Courage also for them to say, I want to join. And if you really don't believe in the journey, I will advise you to have the courage to get out of it. But if you enable this, you're also going to realize that in order to succeed, you have to collaborate. You have to learn how to harness, bring, and especially these days where everybody is distributed around the world, you have to raise your ways to communicate, to achieve consensus, to basically make decisions and become one voice and move on. If you do these things, you will learn how to trust. You'll get the respect of your team, and they will carry the load because they trust the road and they trust you as a leader. So let's go back to the mountain with this notion of compass. Depending on the path you want to go, grow, ascend, domination, the path is about invest, divest, and expand. Reality is a lot of the case, it doesn't work. Like we said, we have to re-engineer on an obstacle or basically reinvent. Once you get the path you want to go, the summit you want to reach, lock the direction and reverse your path. That's the way climber reach a summit. And now it's time to basically draw the map, how to get there. So first thing you do is now you know where you want to go, is to put interim step to get there and measure the success of it. Then you assemble the best thing with the most scalable aspect to basically carry the mission. Next, you have to secure the funding to finish the climb. That's what people tends not to do. They start strong, get something else, let's do that, and kill the project in midway. There will be problems. There will be things that you have not anticipated. Do not panic. Just figure out how to get around these things. And last, if you succeed to reach the summit, you bring the rest of the team with you. That will inspire people to follow after. So I came from a journey where, from the farm, I learned that discipline is a constant journey. Same is for innovation. It never stops. But I also learned that it's hard to do. At Cisco, I learned how to grow up, scale up and scale down, rebuild the business, rebuild my confidence, and persevere. Juniper taught me about to modernize despite adversity and obstacle. And Calix basically was a story of where I was given the chance with others to completely reimagine the market and to bet the farm on it. I wish you can do that. But at the end, it's not about investment in technology. We're back to people. You're going to have to unleash the human potential of your team. And if you do, using the 5C, commitment, courage, collaboration, context, and compassion. Let's talk about compassion. Compassion is about building confidence. Emotional IQ, it's about trust and respect. If you enable data, it's not a weakness, it's a strength. So if you do if you unleash your human potential of the team, they will go with you and reach the next summit. Which bring me back to where you are today. We have dreamed about a vision to reach a summit. We established a path to get it. As you get close to it, I will advise you of the following. Take your compass, take your map, turn around, bring the next leader, bring the rest of the team, and say, go to the next one. My work is done here. Turn back and look for a new summit for yourself. And on this is the journey I am. For the last 2 years, I conquered 2 personal summits. I've wrote a book about technology leadership and innovation, and I faced the hardest task in my life. This talk. I never had to do a thing like this. I hope I didn't embarrass myself to my family, but it's been fantastic, by the way. But that being said, it's the first time I am in the UAE. This is a land with so many summits and so many opportunities that you can basically conquer. I wish you can write new stories and read them in the future. And on this, I want to thank everybody, the dignitary, the audience, the organization of TEDx and TEDxAlBateen, and my friends at Emerge, and last, my family, which allow me to pursue that dream. And on that, merci, thank you, and to the next time.